Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's Hearthstone time.
Alright, I've got a lot of stuff that I would like to be doing, but a brand new Hearthstone set has come out and given me lots to do, including another type of thing that, like, the new dungeon runs. I could probably do quite a few videos of those, and it seems pretty fun so far. I'm sure it'll get old eventually, probably go back to just Arena, but for now I want to try and do both. Doesn't matter. Since it's a new set, we're going to go through and I'm going to take a look at all the cards and give my notes about them, and as usual, I'm going to try and fail to do it a little bit faster than usual. So, let's see. Starting with Druid here, we have ever-exciting Bark Skin, which is give a minion plus 3 health, gain 3 armor for 1 mana. I mean, the 3 armor helps with a lot. There are a lot of mechanics for Druid now, similar to what already existed for Warrior, and there's more of it for Warrior. Stuff that where the Druid gets a benefit from gaining armor or for having more armor. So this obviously helps support that. How useful is it to include in your deck? Like, plus 3 health is not the worst buff for 1 mana, but with 3 armor, it's like, this is not like drawing you a card, you know? So it's, unlike Power Word Shield, it's really hard to justify including a 1-cost buff in your deck. It kind of has to be amazing. I'm not sure this is terrible, but I don't see, it's not going to make the cut unless you really need that armor synergy, basically. That said, like, if the plus 3 health to a minion is very useful, you can compare that to giving a minion Divine Shield. Sometimes 3 health is better, sometimes Divine Shield is better, it depends, but you could easily slap this on a minion and then smash it into something else and get a kill and have your minion survive. So, it's not terrible. Like, they tried, but it's still hard to see it fitting into most decks. Here's the first Spellstone. These Spellstones are cards where the initial version does something that's almost there, but not quite. It's just like a little weak for the casting cost. Like, in this case, it's 2 damage to a minion only for 1 mana. You're like, I should be able to get better than that, even for 1 mana. I should get some kind of ability. But the Spellstones each can be upgraded once or twice by doing something, as long as it's in your hand. So in this case, if this is in your hand and you gain 3 armor, this will upgrade to a better version of itself. I don't want to go and look up every single card. I'll try for some of them, but for this I think it's worth it. But I believe if you gain 3 armor, this is going to upgrade to doing 4 damage to a minion. And if you upgrade it again, which the upgrade is always the same at both levels, then it'll go up to dealing, I don't know, I guess probably 6 damage to a minion for 1 mana, which is pretty spiffy. But it has to be in your hand when you meet that condition. So upgrading it, I mean, this thing is okay. Gaining 3 armor as a Druid without special cards is a little bit slow. You're going to use your hero power 3 times to get this up to being a 1 mana Eviscerate. But if you have other things in your deck that gains you armor, then maybe that's very minimal, and maybe this is a pretty reliable 4 damage for 1 mana card, which you can also use just straight off the bat to do 2 damage, but of course only to minions. So, seems okay. Probably worthwhile in Arena decks. Re-Sprite, 3-1 for 3. When it dies, you gain an empty mana crystal. I am not a big fan of 3-1 for 3. I would definitely play the 3-1 for 3 where if it dies, you gain mana. That's fantastic. It's got this weird thing going on where if this lives too long, it might not help. If you get it later in the game, then obviously it's much worse. But that is a pretty good power. I can see putting that in a lot of decks. I can see that fitting into constructed decks for sure. 3-1 is still going to do damage. Yeah, it's worth a shot. Astral Tiger is a 3-5 for 4. It has Death Rattle. Shuffle a copy of this minion into your deck. Assuming that a copy means means actually just like a copy of the card, so not including its like any buffs and stuff that you put on it. This seems like trash. Like, this is a 3-5 with no abilities for 4 is not what you want to be drawing later in the game. It's just not. Like, I didn't like the Raptor for Hunter. There's it's a 2-1 for 1, and then when it dies, it shuffles a 4-3 for 1 into your deck. 4-3 for 1 would be ridiculously good stats early in the game, but shuffle into your deck, you're probably going to draw it later in the game when you don't want a 1 mana card, or even a 3 mana minion, which is what that is, basically. So, yeah, I don't see this as being a good thing. I mean, yes, it's going to make it harder to deck death you, but for any other purpose, it seems pretty bad unless the copy thing works differently. Branching Paths, this one's pretty cool. Just 4 mana. You choose twice, and I think you can choose the same thing twice. That's my understanding, because it just gives you this choice of these 3 options, and it's going to just give them to you again. The options are draw a card, give your minions +1 attack, or gain 6 armor. So you could draw 2 cards, give all your minions +2 attack permanently, or you could gain 12 armor for 4 mana. And it's letting you choose. So if one attack is going to let your minions trade the way you need to, and you can still do that and draw 1 card, or, if you desperately need that 6 armor to have a chance to survive, or to trigger something, you can take 6 armor and then draw a card. Otherwise, 4 mana to draw 2 cards is obviously not particularly good, but there are worse things. Because that's only 1 mana more than your standard 3 mana to draw 2 cards for most classes. And this is giving you some other options. So that seems like a solid card. This guy, yeah. You get a 4/6 taunt, sorry, a 3/6 taunt for 4, so he's 1 hit point better than Senjin for a class card, but he can only attack if you have 3 or more armor. So, he might be worth drafting in the arena, but he is not going to see you play in any constructed decks ever, basically. There's no reason for it. He's not, you probably weren't going to put Senjin in your constructed Druid deck, and you sure as hell aren't going to put a 1 more hit point Senjin with a drawback. If he was 3/7, that would start getting interesting, because that would be a lot of, that would be like a decent amount of extra toughness, but I don't know. Doesn't seem good. Oaken Summons is 4 mana, gain 6 armor, and recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. So recruit's one of the new mechanics, where recruit just means take a minion card from your deck and summon it. Some cards just have recruit a minion, so you take any minion from your deck and it summons it into play, so you don't get battle cries. Well, a lot of them have conditions. Now this one, the condition clearly just makes it weaker. It's summon a minion that costs 4 or less, so you're not going to get any big minions out of your deck. Again, is if you really need armor, you might play with one of these not so impressive cards that gives armor in order to get the other benefits of having armor as a druid. But this, if you're only 4 or less minions are minions that cost exactly 4, then this is going to give you 6 armor and a random minion without their battle cry. So maybe that's good, but do you want to play with no cheaper minions in your deck to do that? This is mostly sort of a weaker recruit. But you got to see, some of the recruits, the more specific the recruit condition is, the more potential there is for you to specifically tailor your deck so that it will get something amazing. You have just 2 or 4 minions in your deck total, total copies, 2 or 4, that meet that requirement, then you're going to get one of those things, and that would be amazing. So, I mean, for this, you could have some 4-cost minion with a crazy drawback battle cry, and you're just going to get the minion. So, it's interesting. I like those things. This one would be hard to abuse, and I don't think having no 1, 2, 3 cost minions in your deck, it would be worth it to abuse it, but maybe it would, because it is interesting when you start doing that. Twig of the World Tree is a little bit weird here. So you've got, it's a 1/5 weapon for 4, their legendary weapon. I mean, 1/5 is for 4, obviously crap. You can use it to beat up weenies, maybe. I mean, it's not as bad for Druid, because your hero power increases attack, so now it's a 2/5 weapon, if you're willing to spend the 2 mana every turn. So actually that's getting kind of interesting, but the real thing, obviously, is Death Rattle, max out your mana. You just gain 10 mana crystals so that, it'll just max out your mana. So, if your opponent destroys this, that would be a bad move, because it'll just max out your mana right away. there aren't a whole lot of ways for you to destroy your own minion as a druid. That's pretty hard. Rogues have options. But if you could play another weapon to replace it, which again, you're a druid, so you probably can't. I don't know. But the example I've seen, like, referenced was, like, you play turn 4, trigger the world tree, hit something. Turn 5, Blingtron, which gives both players a new weapon, which would blow this up, and trigger the death rattle. Now you have max mana. That'd be pretty sick, but that's a 2 legendary combo. It's also a wild combo. It's not available in standard, I don't think. So yeah, good luck with that. We have Ixlid, Fungal Lord. That's weird. My cursor didn't change. So he's a 2/4 for 5, and then whenever you play a minion, he gives you an additional copy of it. Now, because he costs 5, you have to, like, at most, say you had 10 mana, you cast him, and then you could cast a 5 cost minion and get 2 copies of that minion. It's cool. I'm sure we're going to see some interesting, cool combos and stuff like that. Now, it does say when you play a minion, summon a copy. So he's not going to trigger off summons. He's only going to be minions that you played from your hand. And you're not going to get their battle cry twice. But if they have death rattles, you could potentially get their death rattle twice. So, yeah, he's cool, he's fun. I don't know how much he's going to see used in Construct a deck, but I'm sure people will build some crazy combos for him, because 5's not too expensive. Obviously, not much in the stat department. If your turn is like, turn 5, Ixlid, that is a pretty sad turn. Unless your opponent fails to blow him up, and then you do something, but I don't know. Grizzled Guardian is the only expensive Druid card in his set, which is kind of weird. It's a 3/5 taunt, is Death Rattle, is recruit 2 minions that cost 4 or less. That does not seem good for 8. Like, 8 is a lot of mana, and you're only getting 3/5 taunt up front. Yeah, when he dies, he's going to wipe out 2 minions. You could, with the other thing, you could try and rig your deck so that you had a whole bunch of crazy 4-cost minions, but I don't know how crazy that would be, and there's no way it's going to be worth it for this guy. He just seems weak ass. Moving into Hunter. Hunter has some more options. So we got a 1/3 bow for 1, where you're immune when attacked, so you don't take damage when you make attacks with this. If you had a way to buff your weapon somehow, that'd be pretty good. Like, this would be a crazy sick rogue weapon, which of course they don't get. But I don't know. It's an option, I guess. I'm sure there's got to be some ways you can buff your weapon to make that more worthwhile. Wandering Monster Secret. When an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as the new target. So, unlike the Bear Trap, which after they hit your hero, you then get a 3/3 taunt, which I like. This will summon a totally random 3-cost minion, but it becomes the new target, so their minion is going to hit this. So this is actually a better version of Get Down! It's like, well, better. It's a more expensive, but also bigger version of the Paladin Secret Noble Sacrifice. So, seems pretty good to me. I don't know how aggressive it is, but I mean, you could get lucky on your 3-cost minion, and it could survive if they were attacking with a weak minion. At least it should stop the attack from hitting you and do some damage. Cave Hydra is a 2/4 for 3 beast. That's all great. What's it do? It also damages the minions next to whoever it blocks. So this is a 2/4 splash damage for 3. If this gets buffed by anything, it's a death machine. It's usually just going to get killed, right? But this seems like a pretty solid minion for pretty much all purposes. Like, I would pick this in the arena all day long, I think. Like, that's just awesome. You get a 2/4 for 3 beast, which is not bad. It works with all your beast combos. And then, depending on how things are set up, you might be able to attack a minion that doesn't have too high an attack and do 2 damage to a minion next to it to soften up or kill something that does have a big attack so that this survives. That's pretty cool. You could also, this would be sick with that card, normally not the most impressive card, whatever it is called, that's like 1 mana, give a beast +2 attack until end of turn, and that beast is immune until end of turn. That'd be pretty sick with this guy. 4 damage to up to 3 targets potentially without taking it back. Anyway, Flanking Strike. Just for 4 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion. summon a 3/3 wolf. That's a really good card. That is just a really good card. I'd take that in Arena all day long. If it, like it's a 3/3 for 4 and 3 damage to a minion. So like fire elemental power. Now, fire elemental can hit heroes. This can't, but this is still excellent. There's also a thing that they're trying to set up so you can try to build potentially functional no minion or very, very low minion hunter decks, which is a thing now, apparently. And this helps towards that, because it's a way to get a minion, but it's not a minion in your deck. It's also not recruitable, so if you're trying to set up some weird recruiting strategy, this lets you have a 4-cost minion in your deck that's pretty good, with that 3 damage battle cry is what it works out to, even though it's technically not a battle cry and all that stuff. But that's a pretty damn good 4-mana minion that also doesn't count as a minion while it's in your deck. You know, Hunter Spellstone here, 5 mana, summon 2 3/3 wolves. Okay. And then every time you play a secret, this will upgrade. So it could be giving you 3, or and if you upgrade it twice, 4 3/3 wolves for 5 mana. I mean, 2 3/3s for 5 is an okay stat line. So if it gets upgraded at all, like again, that's not bad for 5 mana. Obviously, it's not fantastic, but it's a good amount of stats. So if it gets upgraded even once, it's starting to look pretty strong, although the drawback is that they're all still 3 hit point minions. They can get taken out by a lot of things, stopped by taunts, but that seems like a pretty solid card. I think that'll probably see a lot of play. Seeping Oozling, 5/4 for 6. His battle cry is gain the death rattle of a random minion in your deck. So I think there are a couple things that might do something like this, but certainly this is an excuse for, there may be some cards in the set that are terrible overpriced minions, but that have some kind of crazy death rattle where maybe you'd include them in your deck and then you're going to try and recruit them out so you don't have to pay their cost, or you could have this guy try and steal their death rattle. Of course, you can rig your deck so that you only have, like, say, two different minions, so like 4 copies total that have death rattles, in which case this guy is pretty much guaranteed to get one of those 2 death rattles under most circumstances when you play him. So 5/4 for 6 is not good. 5/4 with some kind of death rattle for 6, it better be a good death rattle. But if your deck is set up so that it's rigged to be a ridiculous death rattle, like some expensive legendary guy's death rattle or something, that could be worthwhile. We'll have to see how that works out. To my side, 6 mana, summon 1 animal companion, or if you have no minions in your deck, summon 2 animal companions. I mean, they're going to be random. It's going to be just like the animal companion card, but twice for 1 card. It's a little expensive, and obviously it's trash if you have any minions left in your deck. So you have to either have recruited all the minions out of your deck, or just have a no minion deck, period. Like a low number of minions and some reliable ways to recruit them, and then don't play this till you recruit them, or no minions in your deck. But I mean, I guess if you have a no minion hunter deck, this would be a fairly appealing card, because those are 2 minions that are better than you can normally get for a 3-cost minion. The drawback being that they're random. I don't know. I'd love to know if you can get 2 copies of the same one, or if it's guaranteed to be 2 different ones. I think if it's guaranteed to be 2 different ones, I would like that better, because A, it's less random when they use it on you. You're not going to get double boars and charge for 8. And B, it's less random when you play it, so if there's one guy that you want, there's a really good chance that you'll get him. Or if there's only one that would not be helpful, you're going to get at least one that's not that one. So I don't know if it's rigged like that. I would make it rigged, but I didn't make it. Crushing Walls, 7 mana, destroy your opponent's left and rightmost minions. If your opponent only has 1 minion, this is an overpriced assassinate. If your opponent has 2 minions, you just assassinated both their minions. If they have more than 2 minions, if you can arrange to kill some of the weaker ones in between, you can set this up to kill 2 huge minions or 2 really important minions. And it's not targeting, so it's not affected by that stuff. I don't know. I think people argue about this card, but so far, without having ever played it, it looks really good to me. I would take this in the arena all day long because it seems amazing. So two things. I don't know if this is rigged, that everyone got this particular one, or if everyone got a legendary weapon, it was random. It definitely gave me this one. I think this one's probably rigged so that the Paladin thing would be a thing. Because, the no minion hunter thing would be a thing. Because 4/2 bow for 7, but the battle cry is, if your deck has no minions, fill your hand with hunter spells. So again, encouraging the no minion hunter deck. This could give you theoretically 10, but certainly could realistically give you between 2 and 7 cards. Or actually, 2 would be really low end. It's probably going to give you between 5 and 7 free cards in your hand. If you have 10 mana when you cast it, there's a good chance you'll be able to play 1 or 2 of them. Or have 1 or 2 choices of cards that you could still play. So it's pretty strong, no question there. Then the legendary minion, Katharina Winterwisp. She's 6/6 for 8. Her battle cry, recruit a beast. Death Rattle, recruit a beast. So here's the thing. There's no casting cost limit on it, but it's specifically beasts. So if the only beasts in your deck are legendary hunter beasts, then it's going to give you one of those when she comes out, and one of them when she dies. You'd probably want to hedge by having slightly more than 2 in there, but you could just, if you can avoid taking minions for your other things, she'll work really well. And of course, this gives you beasts, but it's not a beast in your deck. This gives you a beast, it's not a beast in your deck, so they wouldn't count for her. She wouldn't be able to recruit them. She would have to recruit your crazy, dinosaurs or whatever you got in there. So that's pretty cool. Mage, my brain went through a whole bunch of different classes for some reason before I came up with Mage, even though it was obviously Mage. So Shifting Scroll, this is weird because it's a card with no listed casting cost. But each turn that it's in your hand, it transforms into a random mage spell. So it's like Shifter Xeris for mage spells. Gotta be a mage to play it, that's the only thing. This seems really strong. Like Shifter Xeris, if it sits in your hand long enough, at some point it's going to become something amazing, and you're going to have the mana to play it. So this is a potential solution to a lot of things. I think it's really good. I don't know if it counts as a spell that wasn't in your deck for the quest. I'm going to say I doubt it, but who knows. They better put out more quests. I don't necessarily think they should put out quests every expansion. That seems silly. But they better put out more quests at some point, have a second quest per class in the next expansion, maybe? I don't know. Arcane Artificer, this guy's a 1/2 for 1, not a promising stat line, but wait, whenever you cast a spell, gain armor equal to its cost, and it's an elemental for triggering things. I think this guy's going to see some play, because, yeah, you could put him out first turn, he's probably going to do nothing for you, but if you go first, why not? More likely, you're going to play him a little bit later, but, if you, third turn, you play this guy, Frostbolt, and blow up your enemy's only minion, you gain 3 armor, and now he's sitting out there. Or later in the game, turn 8, Arcane Artificer, Flame Strike. You just killed all their minions, probably, and gain 7 armor, and if they don't deal with him, you might gain more the next turn. So he's pretty good. Lesser Ruby Spellstone. Add 1 random mage spell to your hand for 2 mana. I mean, it helps with your quest. It's obviously not a good card, as it stands. If you play 2 elementals, it'll upgrade to giving you 2 random mage spells, which is definitely worth the 2 mana. At that point, it's pretty decent. If you play 2 elementals again with it in your hand, you upgrade it to be a 2-cost, whatever the book spell is, just give you random mage spells. So, I don't know if it's the best one of these because what it does without being upgraded seems super weak. You're paying 2 mana to replace a card with a random card. This I like because it gives you so many chances for it to be the problem solver you need, or at least something useful. This, it's completely random. I don't want to pay 2 mana for just a completely random spell. I'd rather have put that spell that I wanted in the deck instead. So this, you really got to get it upgraded. And really, you got to upgrade it twice to my eye for it to be worthwhile. So that seems a little bit hard. Ravin Familiar. You're going to see this in a lot of decks. It's a 2/2 for 2. And when you play it, you joust for spells, basically. You reveal a spell from your deck, your opponent reveals a spell from your deck, so you're getting some intel. You're also giving away information, but they probably know you had Flame Strikes in your deck anyway. But yeah, if your deck has more expensive cards, it's not too hard for a mage to have more expensive spells and more expensive spells than most opponents. So this is pretty often going to draw you a card. And it's a 2/2 for 2. That's pretty sweet. It does, in order to make it more reliable, you'd have to play with fewer cheap spells. So that's an interesting thing that might affect your deck building. But it definitely seems like a pretty good card. If you just consider it a coin flip, 2/2 for 2 that half the time is going to draw you one of your spells, which will also make your deck thinner. And of course, it's not like it gives anything to your opponent if it fails. That's pretty good. Explosive Runes. I think this is just a better version of Snipe. Yes, Snipe costs 2 mana and does 4 damage to a minion that comes out. This costs 3 mana, does 6 damage, which against at the 4 damage, there are a lot of like 6, 7 cost minions that are going to survive 4 damage and maybe do something really bad that you don't want to see. The Explosive Runes at 6 damage is killing the vast majority of minions that you're going to see as they come out from hand. So it's more reliable in that sense, but also, whereas if you have Snipe and your opponent plays some tiny, piddly piece of shit minion, especially if it's like a 1 or 2 cost minion with a battle cry, your secret is pretty much wasted. Like, it just sucks. If that happens against Explosive Runes, you're going to get some blow-through damage to your opponent, because it's 6 damage to the minion, and then any excess goes through their hero. So if they bait it out with a 2-cost 2/2, like the bird there, you're going to blow up that 2/2, which is not worthless, but you're also going to do 4 damage to their player, so it doesn't really feel like your secrets is wasted. And then, you kill a minion with 5 hit points and do 1 damage to them just as insult to injury. That's pretty good. This seems like a pretty good secret, even though I hated Snipe. Leyline Manipulator is a 4/5 for 4. Elemental. That's a great start. Does he do anything? If you're holding any cards that didn't start in your deck, reduce their cost by 2. So that's not too easy necessarily, although, I mean, there's a quest for it. Obviously, Mage has a million ways to do that. But this is something that sometimes is going to work, sometimes it's not. But reducing your cost by 2 is pretty strong. And the main thing is, his stat line is excellent. An elemental Yeti in a mage deck, and the mages have a lot of elemental stuff that cares about elementals. Like, damn, this guy is solid. If he reduced any spells, then he was amazing. Deck of Wonders. For 5 mana, shuffle 5 scrolls into your deck. Each time you draw a scroll, it casts a random spell. So they're going to cast a spell for free when you draw that card. Weird shit could happen if you're drawing cards out of turn. But of course, these are spells, they're going to have random targets. That's a little scarier. So, and it's a random spell, so you have no control over it. It's not like you can rig this to only be your nice, like, blizzards and stuff like that. So, wow. It's interesting. I mean, it's going to give you 5... Well, okay, it's going to give you up to 5 free spells over the course of the game, but they're so random that obviously I'm not going to play this card. But a lot of spells don't have targets. Your like, Spellstone, your Explosive Secrets, and stuff like that. So I think this is actually a pretty strong card. I just wouldn't play it because it's super RNG. Dragon's Fury. Reveal a spell in your deck. Deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. Yes, it costs 2 less than Flame Strike, and it's giving you another way to do a bunch of damage to minions. And I mean, it would be easy for you to say most of the spells in your deck cost 3 or more, at which point this is a fairly reliable 5 mana, deal 3 damage to all minions thing. Flame Strike doesn't hit friendly minions, though. This is all minions. So, it's not even all minions but dragons. This is all minions. And I'm sure it'll see use, but it doesn't seem great. Like, you're a mage, you already have Blizzard and Flame Strike, you're really going to play this over one of them? Ew. I don't know. Aluneth is a 0/3 weapon. At the end of your turn, draw 3 cards. Just as long as it sits out there, you draw 3 cards at the end of every turn. What? I should have looked up before this. I forgot about these cards. There are some of these weapons that aren't for attacking. I've been assuming that when it does that thing, it uses up 1 durability, but it doesn't say so. It may just only have that durability in case of the minions that blow up 1 durability on weapons. That to me would be stupid. Like, it really, like, there ought to be a limit to this. If it happens once, if it takes 1 durability each time it triggers, so 6 mana, you play this, at the end of your turn you draw 3 cards. That's already not bad. Like, if it just gets blown up right away or something. That's not the worst, although drawing those 3 cards on your turn is normally a hell of a lot better than drawing them at the end of your turn when obviously you can't cast them. But as soon as you draw, like, the second set of 3 cards, you've gotten tremendous value. The third set of 3 cards, wow. Like, you're investing in this, but you get a return. Also might deck yourself, but drawing 9 cards over 3 turns, that's insane. Especially if you had a deck. A lot of this stuff, there have been a couple things that encourage you to have more expensive mage spells. You could go the other way, have cheaper stuff. Or you could have expensive spells and cheap minions. That would work for this. Could be crazy. Dragon Caller Alana. She's a 3/3 for 9. Her battle cry is summon a 5/5 dragon for each spell you cast this game that costs 5 or more. So that's a lot. So every time you cast a spell that costs 5 or more, she counts it, even if she's in your deck. And then for 9 mana, you get a 3/3, and then 1 5/5 for each of those spells. So if turn 5, you cast a 5-cost mage spell. Turn 6, turn 7, turn 8, and then turn 9, you play her. You get a 3/3 and 4 5/5 dragons, which would be a lot of force to put down, but that's a lot of reliably getting those spells. So usually maybe you're only going to get like 2 or something, and a 3/3 and 2 5/5s for 9 mana. That would be worth it, but there's some work involved. I don't know. She's okay. She doesn't blow me away. Paladin, we've got Dry Gulch Jailer. He's a 1/1 for 2. His Death Rattle adds 3 Silverhand recruits to your hand. Man, is he weird in how he's going to work out. Because he's like, so 1/1 for 2, he's terrible for your like tempo there. And then it only happens when he dies, so that might be sometime later. And then he adds 3 Silverhand recruits, which is just 1/1 for 1, to your hand. Now, there are a lot of Paladin things that buff their recruits. There's a lot of Paladin stuff that buffs minions in your hand. But he's not going to put them in your hand really early game when you would want them in there. Like, you want this to happen first. You want to be like, if he was a 1/1 for 1, and that was a battle cry, he'd be insane. But I think that being a 2-cost piece of crap, and then only going off when he dies, which may happen before your turn, but I mean, you have to make sure he dies. Probably isn't that hard, but still. And then you have to have some way to take advantage of them, because if it's just giving you the 3/1/1s in your hand, that's not really that impressive. You're still spending 5 mana for 4/4 worth of stats, and that's if everything works out well. So you have to have ways to buff your recruits, obviously. There are lesser Paladin Spellstone here. That might be more than 1 per class, but whatever. It's 2 mana for a 2/2 taunt, which is bad. Now, if you upgrade it, it's going to be 2 mana for... should have looked it up. I don't remember if it gets bigger or... I don't remember if they get bigger or more. I think they get bigger. Is it ruby? Oh, there are more than one. That's... I hit the wrong card. Doesn't help to be colorblind. I was looking at the color. This appears to be there, which is not actually the color. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Sorry, let's take a look. Sorry. In ages old, when ancients broke it, Zarya of Legion spoke. To tempt mortals gems of power. Weeks to come, their souls devoured. Of course they were. Everything devours your souls. And this isn't telling me. Really? This doesn't show, like, upgraded to in Hearthhead? What a piece of crap. Wow, why is that not linked to the upgraded to? I'm missing something there, but okay. Whatever. It probably upgrades to like a 4/4 and then a 7/7 taunt or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. After one upgrade, it would be fun. It would be a good value, and after two upgrades, it'd be amazing. The thing is, it's restore 3 health, and I've seen some previous cards that are like Paladin, require Paladin healing, and they have usually not helped me out too much. Now, there's more. There's one right here that's amazing for that. But I'm not sure how useful that is. It really depends. Potion of Hero is so 2 mana, give minion Divide Shield, draw a card. Holy crap. Like, wow. Because Power Word Shield is pretty good for, and it has good synergy with the Priest power, because giving more hit points means you can heal him back up more, so you can get a lot of value out of that. But giving a minion Divine Shield is really good. If you both have minions, like if you put that on a minion that can attack, that is often, like this would be a 2 mana kill, like a 2 mana assassinate almost. It takes one of your attacks, but a lot of times you have minions out that could trade, and putting a divine minion on your shield means you trade and then you don't lose yours. That's just a win. The fact that you get to draw a card for giving a minion Divine Shield for 2 mana, that is a steal. So I would expect to see 2 of these in every Paladin deck, period, until this set rotates out of Standard. Holy crap. I could be wrong, but I am not wrong that this is an awesome, awesome card. Draft in Arena all day long. Benevolent Djinn is also pretty friggin' sweet. So you got 2/4 Elemental for 3, good stat line. At the end of your turn, restore 3 health to your hero. Just heals you 3 every turn. Like, early game, probably not going to help you out that much. Mid game, that's pretty damn good. And even late game, if you can protect her, you can gain 6 or 9 health without too much effort. If you have any taunts out there or whatnot. Like, it's just good. It's just very good. Hard to go wrong with. It's not like it's amazing, like best thing ever. It also obviously makes it a lot easier to upgrade your Lesser Pearl Spellstone, whatever the hell that does. Unidentified Maul, I did plan for these ones. So, the unidentified cards, there aren't too many of them. You just know this much, and then there's a random effect that it's going to have when you draw it, I guess. I don't know when exactly it happens, but basically, when you put this in your deck, all you know is there's this, and it could be one of 4 different versions. And then when you actually get it, you're going to when you draw it, you find out what version you've got for each copy of this, and then you got to decide how to use it, because some of them will be different. So we've got, you can get to, really, is the mouse over thing not working now? That's awesome. So we've got this one, like, so they're all the same weapon stats, and all these cards have some baseline effects that it tells you. Like in this case, it's a 2/2 weapon for 3. And then they're going to have some different thing when you play them. So this is Battle Cry, summon 2 1/1 Silverhand recruits. That's not bad. You get 2 1/1s, and you get the weapon. That's actually pretty decent. Give your minions taunt, like giving all your minions taunt, could be very good. It's way, way more situational though. So you'd play that very differently if you got it. Give all your minions +1 attack, that's excellent. If this was just the power, this would probably go in a lot more decks, but you don't know which one you're getting when you put it in your deck. That's kind of annoying. And then, does that give all your minions Divine Shield? Okay, give all your minions Divine Shield is an amazing power. So this one, I'm going to have to say this is a pretty good card, because you're actually up to, not a Noyatron, what is the, upgrading, whatever. I can't remember his name. The guy was a 3/2 for 4, who randomly did one of these things, basically. This can't give Wind Fury, but, giving all your minions +1 attack and getting a weapon is pretty good. Giving all your minions Divine Shield is amazing. The taunt is pretty meh. And the 2/1/1s is, not bad. Early in the game, this is okay. Later in the game, this one in particular could be devastating. So, I don't know how many people would include it in a constructed deck because of that, for the chance to get this version. Because this version, if this was the fixed version, this would be amazing. You would definitely play that. But you don't know what you're going to get until it's in your hand. You can make an intelligent decision when to use it once it's in your hand, but yeah. I don't know how many people play that, but I could definitely see taking that in the arena. In the arena, that's pretty solid. So, let's see. Call to Arms, recruit 3 minions that cost 2 or less. So you're not going to be able to rig this one to do something amazing, although you could improve it by making sure your 2-cost minions are not Battlecry based, that they have abilities when they're in play, like Divine Shield, or just Death Rattles. So that's interesting. You can use that to slightly improve it. But the main thing is, for 4 mana, you're getting decent value out of this, and it's thinning the crap out of your deck. So you could play with, 8 2-cost minions in your deck, and you can get some pretty good 2-cost minions, like this guy starts looking more appealing, maybe? I don't know, but it's definitely better under this circumstance than he would normally be. But definitely, if you had a Noyatron, that would be awesome. He's not standard anymore, but you could get some pretty good 2-cost or less minions. If you could have a total copies 8 that are 2-cost or less minions, then you've got a pretty good chance to draw 1 or 2 of them in the early game, because it's like a third of your deck, or over a quarter of your deck. And then with this card, you can thin the shit out of your deck. Like, you play this, it's going to take out a whole bunch of those, put them into place so you get good use out of them, and you won't draw them later when you need to be drawing your bigger cards. So that's very interesting. Again, I don't know how much play is going to see, but people will try. Level up for 5 mana. Give all your Silverhand recruits in play +2/+2 in taunt. That's a pretty serious upgrade. That's obviously what he's for. Although at that point you have to play them all, which costs 1 mana each. So that's like 3 mana and then level up. So you got to play them all and hope they don't die so you can level up the next turn, probably. There's also Crystal Lion, who is not as good as the Shaman, tentacle guy, who is a 6/6 for 6 taunt and then gets cheaper for every totem you have ever played. This is a 5/5 Divine Shield. He costs 1 less for each Silverhand recruit that you have currently in play. That's still not too bad, though. I mean, often you might have created a Silverhand recruit the previous turn, and then you play him, he'd be a 5/5 Divine Shield for 5. Yeah, that's not very spectacular. But if you had the 3 idiots in your hand from this guy, you could play all 3 of them on your 6 mana turn. That would reduce his cost by 3, so you can play all 3 of them and also him. Yay. Yeah, I don't know, actually, he's not as great once you start doing the math. It doesn't seem that fantastic. I think I felt like he had taunt, and he definitely does not have taunt. 5/5 Divine Shield, pretty good, but I don't know if that's a good enough ability. The Paladin, legendary weapon, 4/2 for 6. Death Rattle, give a minion in your hand +2/+2, and when that minion dies, re-equip this. So this is like an immortal weapon, unless the minion who currently has it gets silenced, right? Wow. So like when you use this the second time, as long as you have a minion in your hand, boom, that minion gets a significant buff, and the Death Rattle, that when it dies, you're going to get this weapon again. Wow, that seems pretty good. Now, I don't know how it works out in an actual, like, constructed game. That's still kind of a slow cycle. And it's not adding a lot of toughness to minions, and a lot of things can go wrong. Like, it might be a little bit slow for your tempo, but it sure seems like fantastic value. If this goes to your hand once, and then comes back once, you've got an insane value for that 6 mana. And obviously in the arena, this is a game breaker almost. This is ridiculous. Like, up at the level of, like, Death Knights for winning an arena match. Then there's Linessa Sunsorrow. She's here to make people play the Paladin quest, or at least try. She's a 1/1 for 7. You're like, okay, she better do something awesome. Her battle cry takes each spell that you cast on your minions the entire game and cast them all on her. So every buff that you have cast from a spell, she's going to get. Now, I mean, she can only get Divine Shield once, but any of those buffs that had stats, she's going to get them all. If they, like, gave her other abilities, or if you, like, drew a card when you cast them, I'm assuming you're going to draw the cards again for, I'm assuming that your Potion of Heroism is going to draw you a card for each time that you had previously cast it when you play her. That gets really interesting. So she's pretty cool. I'd like to see her in action. Then Priest, we have Psionic Probe, which is 1 mana, just copy a spell in your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. Which does seem like it's spells only, so I guess that's narrowed down somewhat. But it just seems like an inferior version of, like, Mind Vision, which I didn't like that much. But Mind Vision at least tells you what your opponent currently has in their hand. The scouting value of it is way more valuable than this. So, I don't know. Dragon Soul, again, these 0 attack weapons, I'm hoping that whenever you trigger them, it uses a charge, but, I mean, this is Hearthstone, the game with the uncertain text, so that might be true, even though it doesn't say anything about it in the text. But it really ought to say something about it in the text if that was the case, and of course, they don't, because Hearthstone. But it only costs 3 mana, because you've got to work to make this thing do it. But it's like, after you cast 3 spells in the same turn, this will put a 5/5 dragon into play for you. That's some work to trigger, but for 3 mana and no immediate effect, it could, over the course of the game, give you 3 5/5 dragons. And that's assuming it's limited, like I hope. If it's not limited, then wow. But you really got to work for that. I mean, you're going to need to play a lot of Psionic Probes to get even 1 5/5 out of this. You have to get 3 spells in the same turn. That is a lot of spells. Gilded Gargoyle is a 2/2 for 3. Death Rattle, add a coin to your hand. I mean, that does give you some acceleration. There's nothing really wrong with it, but that is a small minion for 3 mana. You're losing some tempo now, and hoping to gain some tempo later. But also the coins would help with the Dragon Soul thing. So, I guess if there are a whole bunch of things, I guess it also helps with the Priest of the Feast or anything. Like, if you have a bunch of stuff that benefits from casting more spells, then that would help. But on its own, it seems a little weak to me. But again, there is definitely value in, you play a 3/3 now that is a weak-ass 3/3. But you're figuring, it's going to die in the next couple turns, and then turn 6 you could play something that costs 7. That's a pretty big advantage sometimes. Twilight Acolyte is a 2/4 for 3. Go on. This Battle Cry, if you're holding a dragon in your hand, swap this minion's attack with another minion's attack. So, again, he's got a lot of card text going on, but you have to have a dragon in your hand to trigger him. Not that hard a condition. If you're in a constructed deck, in the arena it might be a little bit hard to swing. But the effect is, if your opponent has a big minion out, then you give that minion 2 attack, and this guy gets a huge attack. So that is tremendous value. And in a constructed deck, that is not hard to trigger. So this guy's going to see a lot of play. Even if it's just you play him and you end up with a 4/4 for 3, and your opponent had their 4 attack minion reduced to 2 attack, frig, that is good value. Oh, also, when you change their attack to 2, they're now vulnerable to Shadow Word Pain and other priest things that only affect minions with 2 or less attack. So there's that too. He seems pretty excellent. Twilight's Call for 3 mana, summon 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Rattle minions that died this game. So that's pretty strong. I mean, it's not going to help you early in the game, despite its 3 mana price tag. It's going to take some rigging to get this set up, but you're getting back 2 of your Death Rattles, basically, for 3 mana, with 1/1 minions attached. That's got to be good value. I'm sure that some crazy powerful decks are going to take advantage of that. Here's your Unidentified Priest spell, the Unidentified Elixir, so it always gives a minion, it's always a minion buff that gives +2/+2, and then it can either... These things had like a mouse over effect, and then it stopped working or something. I don't know. It stopped working on my screen. I don't know why. Anyways, they had the mouse over effect in Chrome, and I've got too many scripts blocked or whatever. But anyway, so give a minion +2/+2 and lifesteal. That's pretty good value. If you're putting this on a minion right before attacking, you're going to get a bunch of healing out of it, and then that minion remains a healing threat. Like, if they kill it with a minion, you're going to get even more healing. So that's really good value. +2/+2 in Divine Shield. That's excellent. I pay 3 mana for that. +2/+2 and summon a 1/1 copy of it. If your deck's full of Death Rattles, then, like, damn, that is some good stuff. Or +2/+2 and add Death Rattle, return this minion to your hand. So, wait, you give the minion +2/+2 and a built-in escape Kodo? Like, these all seem really strong to me. Like, again, I have a bias because I mostly play Arena. I don't play that much Constructed. For the Arena, this is just an excellent card. These are all really good effects for the most, like, generally. I mean, you have to remember, like, it's been since Magic the Gathering. If you got a minion buff, that is inherently a weak starting point for a card, because it requires that you have a minion, and you're going to lose it if you lose that minion. So if you were going to lose that minion anyway, you're losing an additional card, basically. So to use a minion buff, it's got to give you a really good immediate advantage, or it's got to just have some effect that makes it worth an additional card. Obviously, a minion buff that draws you a card and gives some stats is usually a pretty good deal. Well, the lifesteal, it depends on the situation, but that could easily be a good chunk of, like, enough life to make it worthwhile. If you get to attack with it right away, and then if it's killed by anything involving minions attacking, you're going to gain like a ton of life, because that +2 is also adding to the life gain. Divine Shield is worth a minion, right? That's like that could just let you kill something and have your minion survive, which is definitely worth a minion, so it's paid for itself easily. A 1/1 copy of the minion, if your deck has a bunch of Death Rattles, that's going to give you, like, the 1/1 plus the Death Rattle is going to buff this up to being well worth the card slot. And then Death Rattle, return a minion to your hand. That is by definition giving you an extra card for free, unless it gets silenced. So all of these, actually, the lifesteal one is the only one that's even close to not meeting my standard of it's got to give you the buff and also be worth a card. They pretty much all do that. So this seems very good. Now, how much you'd use it in Constructed, I don't know, but Arena, it's amazing. Speaking of amazing, whoops, back to you, Lee, right? Speaking of amazing, this asshole is a 3/3 for 4 dragon, so he helps trigger your dragon stuff, And by the way, if you're holding a dragon, his battle cry deals 3 damage to all minions other than himself. Wow. 4 mana to deal 3 damage to all minions is amazing. It doesn't do 3 damage to players, which is, on the Warlock one, usually a drawback. But then you also get a 3/3 out of it. In the arena, this might be harder to use because it depends, you have to get enough dragons, and there's still a fair number of them, and this guy helps towards your dragon count, but it's usually hard to get enough dragons in the arena. But in Constructed, this guy is such a boss, like you just, oh darn, I guess I'm including some dragons in my deck for this guy and this guy. Sold. Well worth it. So, moving on, since he's so amazing, Lesser Diamond Spellstone. 7 mana to resurrect 2 friendly minions. So it is giving you 2 minions for the price of 1. It suffers from all the drawbacks of the other resurrection cards, that whatever minions that you play early in the game to help you survive are weakening your resurrection. Because ideally you want to rig it so that you've only lost big, awesome, powerful minions or minions with crazy death rattles so that you get those again. So resurrecting 2 minions is a fair amount of stuff, but 7 mana is a lot. Now, if you have this in your hand while you cast 4 spells, which of course this guy's coins can help with, then this is going to upgrade to do 3 minions. That's starting to be a lot of stuff. And you could upgrade it again and get 4 minions out of the lesser diamonds, or out of the full, whatever, greater diamond spellstone. I mean, 7 mana is still a lot, and at 2 minions, it's probably pretty random, but I'm sure there are ways you could rig this that it ends up being a fairly powerful card. And as a 7-cost card, it's likely to sit in your hand for a while anyway, so getting that first upgrade is probably not too hard, even though cast 4 spells is a pretty significant condition. Psychic Scream, 7 mana, shuffle all minions into your opponent's deck. That is some weird stuff. I didn't realize until just now. You're shuffling all minions into your opponent's deck. Like, I knew that it killed all your minions, but yours aren't getting shuffled back into your deck. They're also getting shuffled into your opponent's deck. Which means that you could be playing with sort of traitor minions that have bad, nasty battle cries and stuff like that. Like if you somehow had a deck set up based on recruiting to get around battle cries, and then you have a bunch of minions with battle cry drawbacks, and then they get shuffled into your opponent's deck. But also, it is a 7 mana board clear, which, to some degree, like, the fact that it's shuffling all the minions in your opponent's deck is really weird, and it can screw up if they have combos, if they have late game stuff they need. Like, that's not really helping them. But even ignoring that, just a 7 mana board clear is pretty straightforward and useful for a priest deck. So yeah, this is a really good card. The fact that you're giving your minions into your opponent's deck is very weird, but it's obviously just a good card. To balance that out, they have this piece of shit. Temporus. I mean, he's a dragon. Hooray! He's got a 6/6 dragon for 7. His battle cry is your opponent takes 2 turns. Then you take 2 turns. What? So you're going to time lock your opponent and then time lock yourself. Now, no, it's because you're gaining mana those turns, right? Unless you already had 10 mana. But you're giving. It's so messed up that you're giving your opponent 2 turns to beat your face in. Like, you've got to be in such a winning position already, or else your plan for like the next turns is crazy. Like, I guess the idea is that you play Temporus and your opponent beats the shit out of your minions, and then you play your, like, ha ha ha, my crazy upgraded Spellstone will now resurrect all my minions. But, like, gives your opponent an extra turn first. Like, I realize the battle cry says your opponent it's not giving them 2 extra turns, or rather, it doesn't matter. Because they're going to take 2 turns, and then you're going to take 2 turns, and then the battle cry is done, so then now they're going to take their normal turn, and then you take your normal turn, and everything's back to normal. So it works out. They're getting an extra turn, and then you are. I don't know how it works in a time sequence. Like, does this end your turn? I'm assuming not, but who knows? That's really weird if it ends your turn to give your opponent 2 turns, and then this is confusing and bad. I don't know. I'm sure we'll see crazy, like, meme combos with it, but it's not good. I'll be really sad when I get that legendary to pack. Okay, and we'll do Rogue, and then split this video. This is definitely not faster, never is. King's Bane. Their epic weapon, legendary weapon, whatever. 1/3 weapon for 1. Okay, that's pretty good as a rogue. Death Rattle, shuffle this into your deck. It keeps any enchantments. You're like, wait, this accumulates poison and envenom and that shitty weapon buff that gives lifesteal that it was shit before, but if you put it on this thing and it's coming back later and you increase this thing's attack, holy crap. So this, I mean, you do have to draw it again. It's shuffled into your deck. So that might be inconvenient, but like, damn. It comes out early in the game, and it's the same as your normal crap weapon, just slightly cheaper. But if you manage to buff this thing and then it comes back later, that's potentially very strong. It's also right next to the Cavern Shiny Finder. Battlecry, draw a weapon from your deck. So, if you just don't have any other weapons in your deck, because you don't necessarily need them, you're a rogue, then you can much more reliably get this thing out and then get that cycling. But also, by the way, this guy is amazing anyway. He's a 3/1 for 2. That's an okay stat line. I mean, normally you want something with more toughness, that you'd want a 3/2, but because 1 hit point always sucks. But 3/1 for 2, and then as a battle cry, he's drawing a weapon from your deck. If you only have a couple of different weapons in your deck, it's rigged to work. Now, if your plan is to only have this weapon in your deck, well, okay, then the second Shiny Finder that comes out is useless. If you drew this anyway, then he's just a crappy 3/1 for 2. That's not the end of the world. But also, if you play this and then buff it, and then it goes back into your deck, you use him to pull back out your buffed Kingsbane, and here it comes again. So, this guy's amazing, and he makes an amazing combo with that thing. So that's craziness. Also, rogues have secrets now. So they have several of them, because they have secrets, so they have to have enough of them that it's a secret and not just obvious. What we've got is Cheat Death, which is... Oh, whoops, I was going to say the wrong thing. Cheat Death is just the secret version of Shadow Step, which is actually amazing. When a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand and it costs 2 less. So Shadow Step's amazing because you can play a minion and then pull it back right away and then play it again right away and like do multiple battle cries that way. But this, if you put this out in advance, this can help you protect those minions that you played with. You didn't want to bounce it. You wanted to get the value from having it, but it has a crazy battle cry you use again, like Prince Two-Face, whatever, who gives +1/+1 to all your other minions, as long as you don't have any other 2-cost minions in your deck. Like, damn. If you had this to protect him, that's pretty sweet. Something like that. So, I don't know, this just seems really good. Like secrets of this kind, it has the drawback that your opponent could kill a minion is not the one you want back, but this is usually going to work out pretty well. Then there's Evasion, which is, Cheat Death would also have been a good name for Evasion, which is, basically it's a weaker version of Ice Block. It's just Ice Block, except that you take the damage from the triggering attack. So, after your hero takes damage, become immune for the rest of the turn. As opposed to Ice Block, which is 1 more mana, but before you take damage, you're immune. So, it's still largely an Ice Block. It is definitely weaker than Ice Block, but, Ice Block, they're trying to probe for it with their lower damage attacks. If you do that to probe for Evasion, then you're not getting good value, because they're only going to hit with the low damage attacks. So you actually kind of want to probe for this with your higher damage attacks, I guess. Try and get through. But that means that if you probe for Ice Block, you can use your lower minions, and then, okay, well, I guess my higher damage minions can spend all their time killing things. This, you kind of committed your higher damage minion to that, even though you aren't going to be able to finish the rogue this turn. I don't know. It seems viable-ish, even though it's definitely less good than Ice Block. Then Sudden Betrayal, which is like the crown jewel of these secrets. So, when a minion attacks your hero, instead it attacks one of his neighbors. So it's just like Hunter's Misdirect. It's a little bit more situational because there has to be another enemy minion. But on the other hand, it's so much more powerful that even if you have minions, this is guaranteed to redirect it to an enemy minion as long as they have another minion out. And it makes them fight each other. It might kill that other minion and stop it from getting to attack you. That's awesome. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Sudden Betrayal. I'm not a big fan of this because it's too friggin' powerful. Holy crap. This thing is going to be so annoying. She's just a 2/2 for 3. And whenever a friendly minion dies, you add a 1/1 copy of that minion for your hand that costs 1. So she's like the Kel'Thuzad of battle cries, but for 3 mana. You can pretty easily, if you have out a couple of battle cry minions that are ready to attack, or Death Rattle. It works with Death Rattles too. It just happens to also work for battle cries, which a lot of things don't. But damn, you play her, do a bunch of trades, and then you can replay those minions. Now, you're only getting back 1/1 copies, so you don't have the same force in play as Kel'Thuzad, but if they're Death Rattle or Battlecry minions, you're getting those abilities again, which, especially for Battlecries, could be super worthwhile for 1 mana. Or you could just save them in your hand and later drop that 1 mana Battlecry craziness. So she's super excellent. Elven Minstrel, also pretty excellent. I mean, it's a 3/2 for 4, which is a terrible stat line. And his combo, so he's actually a 3/2 for more than 4 mana in a sense. You've got to play something else first. But his combo is draw 2 minions from your deck. It's forcing your cards to be minions, which has advantages and disadvantages, but whatever. It's still 3/2 and draw 2 cards. That's pretty awesome. He's worth whatever some amount of work it is. Fal'Dorei Strider, this guy I also super like. Oh my god. He's a 4/4 for 4, and he's just like that ambush card, except instead of shuffling him into your opponent's deck and waiting for them to draw him, he shuffles 3 ambushes into your deck, but you still get the spiders when they go off. So, damn. I mean, you can argue it's maybe not the most amazing thing ever. You still have to draw them. When you draw them, obviously they're summon a 4/4 spider and draw a card, so they don't cost you your normal draw, just like the enemy ambush ones. And just like the enemy ambush ones, your opponent's going to have a chance to attack them before they have a chance to attack, right? If you get one from this guy, it's going to sit and play for your... And it's going to have, summoning sickness. It's not going to be able to attack yet. If you get an ambush from the cards that the enemies draw, usually they're drawing cards at the start of their turn, and they're still going to have time to attack that 4/4 before it can attack. But, I don't know. He just seems to really get 4/4 for 4, and then 1 to 3 times throughout the game, you're just going to get a free 4/4 at the start of your turn. I can take that. He seems very good. I'm definitely a big fan of him in the arena. I don't know how much in constructed. Kobold Illusionist, 3/3 for 4. Death Rattle summons a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. That could be good, but I'm not as big a fan of that for the arena. But, obviously in constructed, you could get some good combos out of that. With Death Rattle, mostly. Because obviously it doesn't work very well with battle cries. And then the Rogue Spellstone is destroy 1 random enemy minion. So it's an untargeted Assassinate for 5 mana. Obviously not as good as Assassinate. If you play 3 Death Rattle cards while this is in your hand, it upgrades to destroy 2 random enemy minions for 5 mana, which is amazing. And of course, you can potentially upgrade it again. And playing 3 Death Rattle cards in a constructed deck, not that bad a drawback. So this is a really excellent Spellstone. And that does it for the first 6 classes. Next video, I'll do the other 3 classes and the neutral cards, and I'll try and fail to go faster. Next time.
If you found that useful or entertaining, or if you enjoy cookies, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.